Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. The fate of Title 42 hangs in the hands of the Supreme Court today. They will decide whether or not to keep that COVID-era public health measure in place or let it expire at midnight tonight. Either way, it would not be good news at the southern border. Things would go from bad to even worse down there if it does expire tonight. Joining us now for more, somebody who knows a whole lot about the topic, Texas Congressman and member of the House Armed Services and Oversight Reform Committees, Pat Fallon. Congressman, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Rob. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. On our way to that, but a busy week here between the two holidays. What do you think happens tonight? Do you think the Supreme Court steps in and extends Title 42? Have you heard anything that would mean that could happen? Or do you think it's rolled back tonight and things get worse at the border tomorrow?
Well, if the Supreme Court were to consult me, Rob, I would tell them, please, keep the policy in place, because we went from a crisis to a catastrophe, and now we're bordering on collapse. So, Rob, consider this. We, in our history, never had more than 200,000 people cross the border illegally in a given month. Under Joe Biden, we've had 9 months in a row.
Wow.
That is startling. We've had almost over 5 million people cross the border under his watch. And it's so much worse. Like under President Trump in April, the last April that President Trump was in office compared to this last April, it's 1,258% worse, 234,000 illegal crossers. That's what it was in November as well. So, and there's just no answer from this administration. They are perfectly fine with a de facto open border.
Joe Biden's literally heading to the beach today. He's flying to St. Croix in the Virgin Islands for a Caribbean vacation while this is going on here. Do you think this issue, the border issue, and Congressman, we've been talking about this for 2 years. Do you think this issue is reaching kitchen tables across America?
Rob, I really do. And I think that's why we need to pass comprehensive border security legislation out of the House once the adults in the room, the GOP majority, take over next week. And it sounds so great to say that. Next week.
Yeah, 7 days.
In Texas, we have 25 GOP members of Congress. And we got together and put together a package which encompasses, is very comprehensive. It has 40 pieces of legislation in it that would help secure the border. Now, I think we can pass a lot of that out of the House. Now, what Chuck Schumer and the Democrats do with it in the Senate is on them. And if they don't take this issue seriously, because it is a catastrophe reaching collapse, then they're going to have to answer for it at the ballot box come 2024.
Okay, so 200 and I think the number is 226 members of Congress that voted by proxy on Friday for this $1.7 trillion debacle of an omnibus spending bill. Not a single dollar will address border security in this bill. How does a bill like that pass in good conscience? And look, I know people wanted to get home and celebrate Christmas with their families, but I mean, come on.
So let's go. Let's talk turkey. And again, tell the American people the truth. At the last minute, the lame duck Democrats tried to shove down our throats a 4,155-page bill that includes $787 with a B billion, Rob, of non-emergency discretionary spending. So what's in this package? Some of the more egregious things that I noticed. And by the way, it's impossible to read 4,155 pages of appropriations language in 2.5 days.
Right.
How about $12 billion for the IRS? $12 billion additional dollars when this agency just got $80 billion in what I call the Inflation Enhancement Act. $65 million to the UN Work and Relief Agency, and this place has a history of promoting pro-terrorism and anti-Semitic materials and producing it and disseminating it. $3 million for a bee-friendly highway.
Right.
$3 million for an LGBTQ museum in New York. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
It was a piece of garbage, and I voted. I didn't even vote no, Rob. I voted hell no.
Yeah. And a lot of people voted from home. The last thing that Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger did in Congress was vote for this. So those are the Republicans in the House that voted for. I think something like 7 Republicans in Congress voted for this spending bill. We'll see what happens tonight, Congressman, and we look forward to getting your reaction real soon. If I don't see you, have a happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Happy New Year. God bless.
Texas Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.